Welcome to another edition of Friday at 420. I'm Mike Neighbors, your host for the next 40 minutes as we try to entertain you with some great local comics. Joining us for the show today, we have, as usual, Mr. Patrick Capolino.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno, Patrick. Buongiorno. Manolis, are you ready to go? You were checking your phone there. You got other things you want to be doing?
No, CD Baby just told me they sent me some money. I don't know. I probably made 50 cents off Spotify.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was another download for Penis Envy. Is that the name of the album?
Yeah, Penis Envy.
Yes.
By Manolo Santanos.
So look for it on iTunes. That's great. Manolo Santanos.
Ticanis, hello.
Ticanis, my friend. And joining us for the second time, it's great to have him back again, Mr. Scott Faulconbridge.
Ticanis.
Tickany. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
The national anthem's playing. We're going to take a knee.
Take a knee.
Scott, great to have you back. How you been?
Great, Jim. How you doing?
Excellent, Mike. But that's good. You know?
Jim.
Did you do that?
Awesome.
Did you do that on purpose?
No.
Yes.
Mike. Yeah, I knew it was Mike. I knew it was Mike.
Yes, Jim Neighbors. It's a popular. Everybody remembers Neighbors. Jim Neighbors was the most famous of the neighbors.
Oh man, what a great
You're
way
the
to start.
best. You are the best.
I'm so glad you guys invited Scott back. That's awesome.
Or he's going to call me from now on Dave.
Yes, Dave Falcounbridge.
I'm so sorry, Mike.
You know what? It's absolutely fine. You'll never forget again, my friend.
Yeah. I won't.
We are going to play a little game we call Friday at 420, and that involves the Wheel o' Random Topics. I have 12 envelopes in front of me, official Bell Media envelopes with random topics. The guys don't know what they are. As soon as you spin the wheel, it's your turn. You'll get a random topic. You get to start talking on that topic. As soon as you start talking, the other guys can jump in and steal your airtime. You guys all ready to play the game?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Scott, as our guest,
Right.
you get to go first.
All right, I'm going to
Spin that wheel,
this,
my
Mike.
friend. Give it a whirl.
Using his name as much as possible.
Yes. I'll wear a badge next time.
Nice try, too.
Nice try, number 2 for Scott Faulconbridge. Here we go. Your topic, Scott Faulconbridge, on this edition of Friday at 420. Your best night of comedy.
Oh, my
Boom.
goodness.
Tell us about your best night ever on stage. Ripping it up, my friend.
My best night of comedy. I guess I'd have to go with my first gala, Just for Laughs. That was probably
When would that have been?
Oh God, that is really dating me. I think that was 94.
Okay.
And I remember it because John Panette was on that show.
Oh, beautiful man.
And I just had this huge set, probably with the only good A material I had for 7 minutes that I'd been honing over the last 2 years, and it really popped in the room. And I walked off, and then I saw John Panette destroy even more.
Yeah.
But he was so nice to me afterwards. He was like, I don't know who you are, but that was great. And it was like my first chance to do something like that.
Yeah.
And it was so uplifting, and it was the beginning for me. So that was great.
An amazing crowd, right? That the Just for Laughs crowds, the atmosphere there, everything is just. I mean, it's really right. Not that you didn't go out and kill, but that it is really right for that opportunity. And as long as you don't over nervous yourself.
I think, to be honest, over the years, I've seen them do everything from have great crowds. Like there's some nights where there's a busload of seniors, and you don't know what you're going to get. But usually, the Saint Denis Theater,
How many is a seat? Do you remember?
I think it's like 2,000, 3,000.
Whoa,
it's in that range, and it's like there's a roll, right? Like you have to change the
timing. You gotta wait. There's a
especially that room. Like I noticed. There's different rooms that like the laughter hits differently, but that room is like deep, so there's kind of a long roll. You can almost hear it wave towards you. Whereas when I did what was called at the time the George O'Keeffe Center, I think it's a Sony Center now. I'm not sure.
Yep.
But that's more like in the round.
Okay.
So that's more like
comes right at you.
Oh, it just punches you in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Was there a specific moment in that set, something that stands out in your mind, a particular joke or a moment when you thought, "Oh my God, this is going as good as I could have hoped"?
Yeah, because I felt they told me not to do pin in my cock. I probably can't say that, right?
That's all right. We'll edit that out. What was that? That was
I apologize.
What's wrong with pin?
438.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the word that followed pin.
Yeah,
pin in my penis.
Yeah. No, pin in my dink.
Okay. Yeah, we could do dink.
Let's call it that. And well, that's the reason why they told me not to do it.
Right.
Right. And I don't know. I was stupid. I just did it.
Right.
And the room went upside down.
Killed it.
Like, just killed it. Never made it to air. But I had so much fun. The only other time I was told not to do that was when I was doing I think it was a tribute to Neil Armstrong, the astronaut.
Right.
That NASA was putting on.
Wow.
And they said don't
do that, Joe.
Well, they didn't say don't do that. They said don't talk to him at all.
Okay.
And of course, what I heard was
Talk to him.
ask him if he's ever had a pin in his dick. And that's exactly, I did the bit, and then it went well, and then I turned to him and I said, I know you've been to space, Mr. Armstrong.
He's in the audience.
But yeah, he's in the audience. But have you ever had a pin in your ding? And
That's beautiful.
He was so nice.
Yeah.
He was so nice. Like,
Wait, what did
they were all like, "Oh, don't talk to Mr. Armstrong," and he
Yeah.
was just the most like down to earth.
Oh, wow.
Now.
I know. I have to retire, but he was just an easygoing.
That is cool, eh?
What was his answer?
Yeah, he just sort of laughed, and
Laughed
he was
and-
too modest to call
Right.
out. He's that kind of person.
Yeah.
And afterwards, he was like really sweet and
Gracious
nice,
and nice and-
huge hands. Like his whole body was like a tank, and it just looked like something that could survive space travel.
The first
Yeah.
man to walk on the moon, and he has massive mitts.
He was built like a farmer. Like he
That's crazy,
He was
eh?
built like he was meant to stay a long time.
Why was he?
Like
Why was he at your show?
it was a tribute to him.
The show was put on.
Stay with our show.
The show was put on by NASA, and they decided they would do a comedy show for some silly reason. And one day you'll do shows like that. And they put it as a tribute to him. He was being honored.
Yeah. That's a great story. Manolis was just distracted there. He got another 10 cents from CD Baby. So, Patrick Coppolino, best night of comedy ever for you.
I'd say at this point, the one that stands out the most is I got to do the New Year's Eve show at Massey Hall a couple years ago.
Nice.
Yeah. That was like the biggest crowd I've ever played for.
Yeah. Who were you there with?
Tom Green was hosting,
Okay.
so that was nice. He gave me a nice intro because we had been touring together for a while at that
Yeah.
point. And then who else? Dave Martin was on. Mike Rita.
And just
lot
a
of fun
great
times.
night because it's New Year's Eve, right? And that changes the dynamic of the room. And
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was awesome. And it was Massey Hall, so like
Massey,
made my mom proud. Like
All
my
the
mom has a
legends?
pamphlet with my face in it.
Yeah. All these gigs you never take your mom to.
Yeah.
But you're doing Massey Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden that's the one you want the neighbors to show up to.
Yeah, exactly.
You want everybody to know,
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, it was a great night. It was fun.
And because you would think in your mind, at least, getting ready for I'm doing New Year's Eve, Massey Hall, that you almost potentially could psych yourself out, that you overthink the jokes, overthink the all that kind of stuff. But then it works out for you. That's
Yeah,
icing
no,
on
that
the
was.
cake.
I remember the walk to the microphone from the door was the longest. It seemed like forever.
Yes.
Can you imagine how long it takes Gordon
Yeah.
Lightfoot now?
But then you get the first laugh, and it's like
It started
it just
going.
it's like any other show. Yeah,
That
it was
is
fun.
very cool. Manolis Santanos, greatest night of comedy
For sure.
for you on stage.
For sure. I was lucky enough to open up for Russell Peters.
Right.
In Toronto, it was a few years ago. I was like 2,000 seater, at least. And it was that same thing where Scott was talking about, like, when you get a laugh, you have to wait like a half a second for it to die off because it's like hitting you like a wave.
Yeah.
Man, I remember just the same thing walking to the light and then to the mic, and you're like, you have time to think like, I hope this goes well, And I've never
It's the worst thing. Yes.
and I never thought like, you get so used to doing to these like 200 people, 100 people, and then all of a sudden there's like so many, and you're like worried whether it's gonna go well or not, and it does, and within like a minute, you have this thing in your head. I think you could say this. I'm like, I could get used to this.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm like
This is it. This is what I'm doing.
This is what I would like my life to be like.
Sure. And you get reminded the next night when you're in some
Yeah.
dive
Yeah.
that this is not how the rest of your life is working. So you treasure those shows.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember one time I was hanging out with Russell, like after like he was fairly big for a while, and he's like, "What are you doing tonight?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to Einstein's, right, Scott?
In Toronto?
In Toronto, Einstein's, that open mic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing a spot at Einstein's," and he goes, "Oh, can I get on?" I'm like, "I'm sure you'll get on." And he does a spot, and he does okay, but he doesn't like, it's Einstein's. There's like people playing pool. There's 2 people listening, right?
Right.
And he said to me, "You know why I did that set?" He goes, "Why?" Because I'm getting too cocky, and I need to feel.
Dinky. You're getting too dinky.
Oh, okay, I'm feeling too dinky.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you can say cocky.
You can say cocky?
Yes, but you can't drop the Y.
Right.
Right.
There's a
if you
Y
had a
in
pin in your
cocky?
cocky, it'd be okay. We had to just edit the other one out. That's all.
Yeah. So they don't even know what we're talking about right now.
At this point, no, nobody knows. I've taken all that section of the show out. And so that's what propels you though to keep going and doing those open mics and keep doing it, right? Because you want to keep getting the opportunity to go do that big room, do that really cool gig.
Yeah, and the best thing about stand-up too is like there's so many of us, enough of us who are like, I call them maybe sleeping giants, where it's like a guy like Scott, you throw Scott in any position where it's like 2,000 people, he's gonna come out on top. He's beyond ready. And I was like at that point too, where like I've did so many shows and my stuff was good. So you put if I kill in front of 200 people, what's gonna happen in front of 2,000? Of course it's gonna go well, but like you're like, I want this. I want this kind of life. I still want that.
By the way, beyond ready is not what you want to achieve as a stand-up comedian. Like, you don't want to be beyond ready. That's pretty.
He's been working on it for a while.
He's beyond ready. Died 6 months ago, but
all right, boys, that was very interesting. This is a comedy show, and we're talking about comedy, and wanted to get some insights on that. Now we want to spin the wheel again. Patrick Capolino, you want to give it a whirl? We're going to keep going here with Friday at 4:20. Our guest is Scott Faulconbridge. Patrick Capolino, Manolis Santanas, always by my side for this program. What's your number?
7.
Number 7.
It's a great number. I love 7.
You know what? 7 is by far the most luckiest, or people declare 7 their luckiest number more often than not.
Right.
yeah.
Oh, this is kind of just, we just keep going with the same sort of topic. Craziest fan experience, Patrick. Somebody who's come up and tried to accost you, somebody who's tried to get you to sign some part of their body that nobody should ever see, something that's happened with a crazy fan.
I've had someone try to fight me after a show.
Yeah.
That's a real fan.
I don't remember exactly why, but it was funny because there was a misunderstanding. Like, it was a joke I did. I can't remember why it was offensive, but it was, unless I finished the joke, but it was like a weird show, so I think I just called it early. I just bailed on the second half of the joke.
Right.
So then after the show, this guy tried to fight me for it, and it got pretty intense until I was trying to explain to him that there was more, and then I did the rest of the joke outside to him, and then he was like totally nice to me about it after. And he apologized.
Okay. I don't even know about this.
He didn't.
It happened at like the Doors pub or something. Like it was, yeah.
So finishing the joke, then he got.
And then he was like, "Oh, well, we should have." Like, if you had just finished it, but I just remembered the first part went so bad. I was like, "Okay, I'm done."
You are always playing on a bit of a knife's edge when you're performing and entertaining people, and you're trying to go down some interesting roads with comedy. And yeah, I mean, offending people is sort of goes hat in hand with the job, doesn't it? Sometimes.
Well, yeah, it can happen easily when you're trying to do stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And trying to go where maybe someone else hasn't gone before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And especially trying to do it with some modicum of class or whatever, as opposed to just being ignorant.
A jerk.
Yeah. I mean, there's always that route, Andrew Dice Clay.
Right.
So
you're always trying to push. It's actually harder today, I think, to do that because people get outraged so quickly. Mm-hmm. And so
about what do you mean about
anything?
About anything,
yeah.
Really. And pick a topic.
Yeah.
So that's my only concern is
frustration. Culture of outrage.
The culture of outrage, which I get why these things happen. I just we got to give ourselves enough play.
Yeah.
Like we have to be able to play on stage and make mistakes. And I don't even believe comics. I don't even believe comics should never say, hey, I made a mistake. Like we're not perfect,
Right.
But we should be allowed to be imperfect without being condemned.
Yeah.
And if it's a consistent thing, maybe that's something else. But it just seems that there's less room to.
And if you do a whole set, and I'm watching your set, and you push one button that I don't like, that's to me should be the red flag that maybe it's not that person as much as it's me. If you all you're doing is pushing buttons and mentioning all those buzzwords that are driving people crazy right now or whatever, I get you're trying to provoke.
Right.
But if you provoke sort of almost incidentally to just me and my circumstance, well, that's different.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also for the most part, audiences are pretty good with it.
Yeah.
Like most live
You're
audiences.
usually drunk.
Yeah. It's exactly.
They'll absorb a lot. Craziest fan experience, Manolis?
This one that just went into my brain right now because I have a couple I was thinking of.
I just love the way you describe how your brain
I
works.
saw it go in.
Just snuck in while you were talking.
That's there to stay.
I was doing I don't know if it was a guest spot or I was on the show, but it was McMaster University. They had a show, and afterwards I was at a bar, and this girl, we're all there, and this girl from the audience, I guess, started giving me the business because she thought my stand up was degrading to women. Right. Which I can understand. Like I do have,
Which it is.
She had a point.
Well, you talk about relationships and previous girlfriends and stuff, and you're not degrading all women, but
it's sexual in content a lot of times, anyways, regardless. And I was explaining to her, I was really trying to explain to her how I wasn't, and I was trying to explain my side of it. And at one point, I just said, "Okay, listen, I don't know what else to tell you." I go, "I'm harmless. Like I am."
I'm a teddy bear.
I'm literally nothing. Like what I say means nothing to the universe. I'm not hurting anybody. Trust me. Women are fine or whatever. I said something like that, and then I swear to God,
That's a bumper sticker. Women are fine.
I love women, right? That's the thing too, right? It's not like I hate you women. I love you women. I live for you. It's the reason I don't kill myself. But I say this to her, and then after I say this, I swear to God, she says to me, she goes, "I want to have sex with you."
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah. So
that caught the room off guard a little.
Yeah, I couldn't believe
That was
it
a
'cause
180.
Yeah, I thought you for 10 minutes I'm just talking to her. I'm like, this woman hates me so much, and then out of nowhere she goes, "I want to have sex with you," and I honestly didn't see that coming.
On behalf of all the people driving right now in their cars, listening to us talk about all these interesting topics, I have to ask the obvious follow-up question. Did you?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
excellent.
He
All
took her
right.
home and degraded her.
What?
No.
No, she
degraded you.
She degraded me after we were done. She kicked me out.
Okay.
I can't say certain words on the air.
Thoughts are not censored here, Scott.
And
Only
Manolis
words.
at his worst. 6 people just drove off the road. Nobody cares.
Don't worry, we'll have traffic coming up in a minute. So for the people who drove off the road, we'll get you through that. Scott, craziest fan experience.
Okay, craziest fan experience was, and this is borderline fan, but audience member.
Yeah.
But so I used to do this bit, which probably you guys have never seen me do, where I did my impersonation of a basketball, and I was
love that
somewhat.
I love it already.
I was somewhat more fit, and this was really stupid. But because I have a bad back today, and this is probably the reason why. But I would curl myself up into a ball, but with my legs kind of hanging out a bit, and then someone would start to touch my head, and then I'd start to bounce up and down, and I could usually get it going pretty good to the point where the audience was like, "Oh, he really looks like a basketball."
That is awesome.
And it was the stupidest filler I ever had. But anyway, so I was being bounced as a basketball one night on stage, and the person I had brought up turned out to be, this was in Montreal at the Comedy Works. It was a drunk Marine, U.S. Marine. And as I was bouncing, I guess I pushed too hard with my legs, and as I pushed up, I hit him. My head hit his chin, and he went flying.
This is
backwards
amazing.
And got like semi knocked out for a second, but came to really quickly and just sort of popped up and said, I'm gonna bleep and kill him. I'm gonna bleep and kill him. And I was, thank you, good night. And I ran off the stage. I'm trying to remember who the headliner was, but it was Brent Piaskowski. Brent Piaskowski was in the back of the room. And there was a door to the back alley. He just opened the door, and as I went off, I ran off the stage, through the crowd, to the door. Brent was holding it open. He went, keep going, don't look back. And
It's like, run, Forrest, run.
Close the door. Apparently the guy was looking for me for like half an hour.
Oh, man.
And yeah, that was probably...
That is crazy.
And I've had other people like rush the stage on me
Right.
over the years, so...
There have been some crazy interactions, but nothing quite like having a U.S. Marine think you meant to do that.
Yeah,
you meant
that
him.
guy really wanted to
Embarrassed
hurt me.
him. Yeah.
He was like really embarrassed.
Did you have sex with him?
So the question that we're all asking, did you have sex with him?
That is, those are fantastic stories. Thank you for sharing, guys. This is Friday at 4:20. You're listening to it on Funny 820. Scott Faulconbridge is our guest comic. We have Patrick Manolis in the room, and we are Manolis. Up to Manolis to spin the wheel.
This is when I get nervous. Because I have to come up with the first story.
Oh, yeah. You like having time, right?
My brain needs it.
Yeah.
It's not me.
Well, let's hope one walks into your brain this time.
All right. Oh, what number?
What number?
I told you.
Sorry, 3. Oh, he went 3.
Yeah, that's what this was.
Is that the sign language? Is that sign language for 3?
It's just 3. That's all it is.
The international symbol for 3.
Yeah.
Worst pain you have ever felt?
Worst pain I ever felt.
Yes. Did you hurt something? Broken heart? Where do you want to go with
Broken
this
heart?
one? Did you hurt something? Have you hurt anything? I know
I-
Scott's got a bad back over here. I'm guessing he's lining up a basketball story to tell how that happened.
I think the worst pain I think that I can remember as a child was
Your mom giving birth?
yeah, that hurt her. I remember climbing on the roof. I remember climbing on the roof of my parents' house. I used to go on the roof all the time through the summer. It was wintertime, and I was bored, so I thought, let's go up on the roof again. And I was trying to I used this gate to get down. So like I hang off the side of the roof, and then I find the gate with my foot.
Stretch your foot out to find the gate.
And then I climb down. I couldn't find it in time as I was on the roof because there's snow. So I ended up sliding off the roof, and my legs went on either side of the fence, and I landed right right there. Yeah.
Oh, right between
The legs. Like I was like that.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like I was like kind of like off my side of my leg. No, it was like it was perfect the way I landed in the worst way.
And you weren't cocky anymore.
No, and then I remember just falling off the fence and just lying in the snow for probably like a half an hour, just crying.
That
I was like maybe 9, 10. Like yeah, it was.
That certainly qualifies as the worst pain.
That
you've
would
ever
probably
felt.
be the worst pain I've ever felt.
That does sound like it
Yeah.
would be painful.
Yeah,
It does sound bad.
yeah, it does. I didn't learn my lesson. I still went back up.
Nice that you fell in the ice, though, so you need to get ice on that right away.
Right,
so
yeah.
that's very good. Patrick Capolino, worst pain you ever felt?
I've been pretty lucky. I've never broken bones or anything
No?
like that. I don't know. The worst I can think of is when I was a kid, I was swinging on monkey bars at this playground, and they had there was like a screw that was sticking out of one of the bars on the that was holding the thing up. And I remember people were running under me as I was swinging on the monkey bars, and then one girl ran, but she accidentally hit me, and I just swung right into the screw, and it took a huge chunk out of my knee. But
That would have hurt.
that's the only thing I can think of that I remember.
And that's an intense pain. And part of the reason for me writing that topic down was only because there's this sort of sense that when somebody's talking about the worst pain they've ever had, I mean, the only thing you really have to judge it by is the worst pain you've ever felt. I mean, I can imagine, when you talk about that, I kind of go, okay, is there something in my wheelhouse that that qualifies for what kind of pain I think you must have been in, and I'm going no. But that one, I've certainly taken chunks out of my body at times. But that is all you really have to qualify it with. And we have this debate all the time. And I know, Scott, you're married and have kids. And when a wife talks about giving birth, is there anything we have that can qualify for that kind of pain?
According to both my wife and myself, tooth pain, certain types of nerve pain. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, my story is basically, it involves, when you've been doing this 27 years, you usually have some kind of most painful story about stand-up.
Right.
And I was at Just for Laughs in 2012, about a day before my gala, a day after my gala, but a day before my debaters taping, and I bit into a street hot dog that had something in it. And basically, I cracked the tooth, and I needed a root canal.
Oh,
and by the time I got to the dentist, it was like 4 hours before my taping, and I really didn't, like, I had memorized a specific monologue, and they had Dave Hempstead on standby in case I couldn't make it. But
this guy wants to go freeze you all up, and
I said I can't be frozen if I'm going to talk.
So what'd you do?
So I went on like major painkillers that didn't freeze my mouth,
awesome,
but numbed the pain. And I debated Nathan McIntosh.
Stoned out of your tree.
I was stoned out of my tree. We were making fun of it the whole time, but I was basically debating through a root canal.
Oh, wow.
And half the debate ended up being about the root canal and like discussing what meds we should put Nathan on to make this fair.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
But that was pretty painful.
And that pain would have been incredible, right?
Yeah, and I had to live with it until we were ready to operate.
This sounds like
do the root canal.
This sounds like a great story, though. You were on pain meds?
It's a great story. He's talking about the worst pain that he's ever personally felt.
Yeah, but you got to do pain pills. This is great.
I'm sorry. This is otherwise known as Manolis's fantasy. It's to combine pain medication with stand-up comedy.
A reason to do pain pills when you actually have a reason, right?
Manolis, the walking drugstore. Yes.
You need a reason to do pain pills, man?
No, I don't.
No. Gentlemen, who's turn? Scott, you're back up.
I'm back up.
You're up to bat, my friend.
All right.
You're listening to Friday at 420. Scott Falconbridge, Manolo Santanos, Patrick Coppolino. I'm Mike Neighbors. This is Funny 820, and you got number 4.
Number 4?
Well, we're just taking them in order here. Mm-hmm. All right, number 4. If you play video games?
Sometimes.
Yeah. If you are video gaming, what game are you playing? Your go-to.
What's your go-to?
My go-to is the one all the kids are playing right now.
Fortnite?
Yeah, Fortnite. Yeah.
Oh, Fortnite.
Yeah. When my son starts to play a game, I usually pick it up a little bit. I'm basically living through him a little bit.
How old's your son?
He's like 14.
Okay, 14. So he's right into it. I mean, Fortnite is
he's
like
right
massive.
into it. And I should have seen it coming. Like, I had an Xbox when he was like 2, and I was paranoid that the games I was playing would influence him. And then I came down one stairs one day, and he was driving a tank through the desert of some war game I had, and I panicked and put the game away because I was having such a negative influence on my. Yes. Didn't matter. He's a big gamer. He loves it.
Excellent. And do you enjoy the Fortnite?
I do.
It's very popular.
I get my ass kicked. I only play it on my phone, and I get my ass kicked all the time.
Okay, I'm sure most people do.
I'm just terrible at it. It's like I'm fumbling for the. What do I? By the time I do that, all my life points go down. I'm trying to kick, but I'm running. I'm not supposed to be running. I meant to go backwards. I'm going forwards. I thought I was hiding, but I was running out in the open like this. I mean, I have absolutely spastic when it comes to working the controls because it's not ingrained in us. Like we didn't have those things back in the dark ages.
Well, you had Pong. Plus the thing is that when you are that age, when you are 14, 18, whatever, I mean, you're just so much. Your brain is just firing so much faster, right?
Oh, I thought I was good on computers, but my son is just unbelievable.
Yeah. Plus, they're fearless. I think that's also, we always are going, well, if I do that, will it, we start asking ourselves so many questions, they just do it.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like they're completely like hooked up.
Yeah.
To online.
Do you guys play Fortnite? You ever play Fortnite?
I haven't played that. No.
Okay. What's your game, Patrick?
Well, I used to be obsessed with video games. I was such a pale kid because I spent entire summers in my basement just like playing online.
You used to make them too, didn't you?
Yeah, I used to program video games when I was in high school and stuff.
So what would be the one that comes to mind as your favorite? Because I have a follow-up question. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't play anymore because a few years ago I had to make a big boy decision and sell all my video games so I could pay my rent. Which sucked because it was like I sold it.
Welcome to daddyhood.
Yeah. But I don't know. When I did play a lot, it was either SOCOM or Call of Duty.
Call of Duty?
I like the online ones, yeah.
And as far as games that you created, were they along the same lines or were they different?
Oh, no, those are like 2D side-scroller games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Those simplistic stuff?
Yeah, when I was smarter.
So you don't play anymore at all now?
No, not really.
Because if you did, you'd go right back into...
If I'm taking a poop, I'll play Angry Birds or something.
That works.
We can say poop, right?
Yeah, we can say poop.
Say whatever you want, man.
Yeah,
But we can't say cocky.
No, you can't say that. I don't think you can say Angry Birds either. I'm not sure. That's a copyrighted name. Manolis, you don't look... Let me just say.
I have one. I have a story.
Okay. Well, okay. No, I was going to say you didn't look like a video gamer. You didn't look like
Atari. I was.
Okay.
I was up to I think I stopped when I was like 17 or 18. I was like, I had this moment where I'm just done.
Once they were 3Ds, I can't.
It was too heavy, dude. It was 1985, I think. Okay, and I remember I officially became a thing where I was like a metalhead, I guess you can call him. So I had the jean jacket, I had tie-dye pants on, I had a mullet, and I had my Sony Walkman. And I was like obsessed with the first of Motley Crue album at the time. I don't know if it was actually called Too Fast for Love, but Too Fast for Love was on it. So I'd always have that tape, and I play this game called Spy Hunter, and I got so good at it at the arcade that like Spy Hunter's a car game, and eventually you were able to get oil, and you could put oil behind you and get all the cars to crash, and then. After so long, if you did really well, you could get to turn the car into a boat, and then the boat came back and turned into a car. So when you got to the boat, then like if you hit the oil, it would turn into fire, and all the boats would it was like. So I played this game. I could play for like a half an hour at a time, which is unheard. This game was actually hard, but I remember would be playing it like just going and listening too fast for love, right? And I'm like doing my thing. I was in the zone, and this is when I knew like this was the coolest I ever felt because I heard kids go, "Holy cow, he just turned into a boat. I've never even seen that before." And I'm like,
you were king.
I was king. I was king of the arcade. I was the boat guy. I was like the guy with tie-dye. I was like, I've still never been on a boat, and I've killed tons of them, dude.
That is fantastic, man. And that was in the 80s.
Yeah, definitely the 80s. Spy Hunter. Wow. It was dope, dude. I'd buy that game.
You would buy it in a heartbeat. I was always a pinball guy. I love pinball machines, man. But that's just how old I am. Sorry,
you were the wizard, dude.
There was no video.
You're still fun.
I love pinball games. They were. I always thought they were the best. All right, we have probably time for one more spin of the wheel, and it is Mr. Coppolino's turn. Give it a whirl, my friend.
Too fast for love.
We did 3 already, right?
Yes, we did 3.
We did that. But we didn't do that.
8.
Oh, we did. We did that, but yeah, we didn't do the next one. How do you see yourself in old age?
I don't.
You're not gonna make it?
I don't know.
Haven't thought about it?
I don't know. It's
old retired Patrick Coppolino. What are you doing?
Well, I don't know, because when I was younger, I used to actually visualize myself as an old man, and I don't anymore. I don't know if that's I try to.
It's like a weird omen kind of.
Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
like I don't see when I get this really unsettling feeling when people talk about being old, because like I feel like I'm lying to myself if I talk about being an old man one day.
Well, because the closer you get to that, the less enjoyable the concept of being old is. It's like you're halfway there, and I already hurt this much. What is going to happen when I'm not going to be able to feel my legs? I'm not even going to know when I'm pooping.
It's not even. It's not an unsettling like I don't want to get old. I don't think I'm going to be old.
Right. Oh, and there's that element.
You're going to die, you mean?
I think I'll be dead before I'm an old man.
Wow. That really brought the topic to a screeching
So you see yourself in a box.
Yeah, I'll be disintegrating.
All right. You know what? Let's just. You know what? We'll put a pin in that one.
Happy Pat Capolino. He'll be performing all weekend long at Hamilton Yuck Yucks.
Scotty, how do you see yourself as an old man? I mean, you got a picture in your head. You got a place you'd like to end up. A place you'd like to be.
It's called a mirror.
I'm thinking really old.
Yeah, you're thinking.
I'm a pretty old dude too, so but I'm thinking like
you say
way
80?
older than us.
You know, I am. I have parents that are older, so it's not that hard to imagine, right? You see the stuff. You're involved with your.
My dad's 76, still kicks my ass on the golf course.
There
So
you
I mean,
go.
you can see yourself having an opportunity to still be doing stuff. So
Yeah, I think that the one thing is, and this is probably true when you're like going. At 50 is like a wake up call a little bit.
Yeah.
I had 3 friends die in 2 days.
oh my god.
Yeah. And all of a sudden I just went, you know what? I'm gonna start moving a lot. I'm gonna start
yes.
like
Yes.
The phrase "move it or lose it." And so I think the question is not how do you see yourself, how do you want to see yourself,
Right.
and what are you going to do about it?
Right.
Because you do have some control over these things.
Yep.
If you start a decade or 2 ahead of time,
Yeah, you're right.
Like you don't have to be all down in the sand here,
gonna die.
like Patrick. Like you can turn
Debbie
your life.
Downer.
How old are you? Like you're
28.
You're 28.
28.
Worried about dying, or not even like making it to 65. No, you can have some control over your fate. It's not all doom and gloom, but yeah, you have to like. I just kind of envision myself. I'm hoping to be, like your dad probably thinnish.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keeps
That's
yourself in good shape. Golfs all the time.
Sure. That's why you can move like that on the golf course, right?
Yeah.
So lots of walking, lots of swimming.
Yeah.
And I try to keep up with these guys. Well, it's not that hard. Look at them. But the point is, I mean, this one's easy. He's about to drop off any second.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but you try to take control of your destiny and be that like very fast walking 70-year-old that goes by your house every day with the dog.
I certainly like the perspective on the topic because it isn't, I'm going to see myself in a rocking chair by a lake, enjoying the sunsets. It is, how am I going to get to that rocking chair? And that's a really cool way to look at it, man.
Yeah, I don't want the damn rocking chair. I'll be honest with you.
I want a game of Spy Hunter and a cool Sony Walkman, man. That's what I want to
still
do.
have that Walkman, dude.
Manolis, how do you see yourself as an old man?
Well, I'll tell you this. First of all, my brother's wife found out that Patrick's not. He thought that Patrick. I said, "Oh, Patrick's 28," and she's like, "What? I thought he was the same age as you."
Yeah.
And I'm 48. And but I will say this. One thing I don't want is I just don't want to need anybody. My dad, I had to drive my dad to St. Catharines today because he wants to paint his friend's restaurant. And he's 90. I just want to. That's what I want to foresee myself not to bother someone. I had to wake up at 8:30 this morning to drive my dad and say I have to pick him up today because my dad wants to paint.
Dude, that's amazing.
It is amazing, but it hurts me. I'm not. He's in shape and I'm not. It is amazing.
Didn't your dad fall off a ladder last year and he just kept it a secret so that he could keep working?
Yeah, no, he didn't. A decade ago, he fell off a ladder and then he says, "You have to come with me and help me finish this house." I'm like, "Okay." And the guy goes, is your dad okay? I go, what happened? What do you mean? Well, is he okay? He fell off the ladder and landed on the rail on his ribs. I took him to the hospital.
At
He was
80
fine.
years old.
At 80 or 85 or whatever. He was like, so the guy was like, my dad was like, no, you no pay me until I finish the house. So the guy paid him, let him finish the house because he was afraid my dad would sue him.
Wow.
So he let him finish the house. That was his stipulations. Like, I want to finish my job.
You're lucky. My father's favorite game is Touch My Hernia, and it's just
Spongy.
just disgusting. He'll literally like lean against a counter edge just to push the hernia in.
To help it?
It's like a party trick he does.
All right, that does it for this edition of Friday at 420. We've had a lot of fun. I hope you have as well. Manolo Santanos, Patrick Coppolino, Scott Faulconbridge, thank you so much for dropping in and hanging out with us again, man. We appreciate it. Very funny stuff. You can go ahead and say, yeah, you're welcome.
Cocky.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Jim.
You're welcome, Mike. Great job.
All right, we'll be back next week with another edition of Friday at 420. We're going to try to get Manolis' dad to come on the show because
we
I think
should.
that would be a lot of fun.
I can do it.
Yeah, you can drive him here.
Yeah.
Next week, we'll be back with another edition of Friday at 420. We'll see you in 7 days. Thank you so much for tuning in to Funny 820. And until we get a chance to talk to you again in 7 days, have an awesome weekend.